Today's Wednesday, October 5th, 2016. You're tuned in to the Elevator Radio Show.
You're tuned in to the Elevator Radio Show, a weekly program dedicated to covering news and information on elevators, escalators, and moving walkways. Produced in the wee hours of the morning, a new show is uploaded every Wednesday, sometimes even before you get out of bed. Listen to some of the comments sent in from our audience.
Rob from New York writes, Tom, are you f***ing insane? You actually get up at 2 a.m. each Wednesday to put this show out? Man, you must love elevators. Tim from Illinois writes, I'm not sure why I listened, but ever since I tuned into the first show back in 2007, I've been addicted. Matt in Texas writes, I like your safety messages, Tom. It's important to remember them each and every day. And he also adds,
when am I going to win the monthly prize pack giveaway?
Ron from California sent this in. Despite your inability to pronounce words in the English language, I tune in each week and am glad that you offer this service to the industry. It's better than Google News alerts. Sarah from Washington writes, love the show, Tom, and look forward to it each week. I'm glad I signed up for the newsletter. You provide a valuable resource for the industry, not only for North America, but worldwide.
Enjoy the show. And now, here's your sleep-deprived host, Tom Seibert.
Thank you. Thanks, everybody. Good to be here. Yes, it is good to be here where I have been aggravated beyond belief this morning. Holy moly, if you weren't up at 2 o'clock in the morning like I was, or 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock, you did not have to deal with the Microsoft update patch that they typically send up Tuesday mornings or Wednesday mornings. It took forever. I'm telling you, my computer took literally 2 hours to update. Had I known that, I would have turned the machine on right when I got into work and done the let it just run. Never had that issue before. On top of it, it totally effed up my settings with my soundboard. So literally, I've just been pulling my hair out going, what are you doing to me, Microsoft? Damn you, Microsoft. Oh my gosh. So this show, which should have been produced and recorded an hour ago, is much, much later than that. So anyway, hopefully all of your computer issues are okay by the time you log in this morning and start working and all that good stuff. But there's a good chance you might have some stuff screwed up. So just that's why. I don't know why Microsoft feels the need to have to do multiple updates as they do, but it seems to happen more often than not. So, yeah, which is not necessarily a great thing, but crazy. So, hey, it's good to be here regardless of my computer issues, and yeah, it's good. I can't believe it's October already. Can you believe that? It means that we are officially in fall, one of my favorite seasons of the year. So if you get a chance, make sure that you enjoy those fall colors out there. If your season is fall, if you're spring headed into summer in the southern hemisphere, that's a whole different ballgame. So enjoy your summer. The only sad and downside to winter is that the light gets shorter, and I hate that part. And it just seems to kind of wear you down because you just don't see the sun that often, and it gets cold. But don't mind that at all. So try to enjoy the fall colors if you can in your neck of the woods, because before you know it, it's gone and we'll have snow on the ground and all that good stuff. Hey, those of you in the path of Hurricane Matthew, man, what a doozy of a storm. I know it's going to kind of flank the eastern side of Florida and the eastern United States, so hunker down. I'll be kind of keeping an eye on those areas. But if you do not have the proper kind of procedures on what to do in the event of a hurricane with your elevators, make sure that you're parking them at the top floor, cutting the power if there's any chance of flooding that could occur. So that's really important. There was a fatality where somebody actually drowned in an elevator, and was not funny whatsoever, in Houston. I forgot what hurricane that was, but it was tragic, and steps need to be taken to make sure people are not using elevators in the event of a fire. In the event of a flood or a hurricane, and so make sure you're doing the best you can to minimize any kind of collateral damage from flooding and storm surges and stuff like that. But yeah, it's looks like Haiti just got nailed. Haiti just got nailed. And when you look at some of the photos this morning, you're just going to see, wow, it's amazing that half of those structures are still standing after that storm hit. So anyway, thinking about you, and just hang in there. Last Friday, I attended the NASA International Central Regional workshop where I was lucky enough to present on water and explosion proof requirements for elevators. Had a great time and amazed always when I attend these types of events and you've got the talent that was in, that attended that educational, 2 days. It's kind of cool, very humbling that I was able to participate in that, and hopefully, some of you walked away with more knowledge than you had, perhaps than you ever wanted to have on water and explosion-proof elevator equipment requirements. Had a lot of fun, and great to see some familiar faces as well. As always, it's a pleasure. Great job on running that event, and it's just a lot of fun. Next week is the Wisconsin Elevator Symposium at Lake Geneva. I'm going to be attending that. Just as a note, next Wednesday, we're trying to coordinate to have a fill-in. I'm having a procedure done on Tuesday, not a big deal or anything, to my shoulder, just having some hardware removed that has been in there for the last 3 years, and just a good time to get that done. I've been putting it off forever. So that's on Tuesday. I will not be doing the show on Wednesday. I'm hoping that we can coordinate with Bob Shepard to get him on and have him fill in for my spot. Love to have that happen. We have kind of a short notice and a short window, and if it works out this way, then hopefully we'll have more of these in the future and get Bob on the show. And so we'll see what happens with that. So I think that's all I had to really chat about. It just seems busy. And as we head into the end of the year, hopefully things are going well for everybody. And you are trying to enjoy as much time with family and friends as you can, and are putting work in perspective as best that you can as well. So anyway, without further ado, we're getting into the news of the week, and thankfully it wasn't a ton of information, but still cover that on the show today. So up next, we'll get right into the news.
Let this week's news stories give you a lift on what's happening in the vertical transportation arena. Each news segment is organically dug and fresh with news stories of the week. Got lift? If not, stay tuned.
All right, if you haven't put this one on your calendar yet, make sure you do it. NASA International Elevator Safety Summit is registration is open for that. I did not link up the registration link, but you can sponsor this event. And as Bob Shepard noted before, this I had the page here. Oh man, I don't have it anymore. Oh, here we go. Anyway, so this is a quote from Bob, and I think this hits the nail on the head when it comes to safety. As Woodstock changed the culture of the world and music forever, hopefully the Safety Summit will change the culture of safety for a better forever. So I think that's awesome. I am looking forward to helping out with this event as much as I possibly can, even sponsoring it, and should be a great event. It's the first of its kind, and I think give hats off to NASA International for hitting the lead on this. So very excited to be part of that. It's May 2017, so plenty of time to get that all locked in. Looking forward to that. Okay, and then if you want to go and register, there's links, I think, in the flyer itself, so check that out. Okay, Elevator World Incorporated has a nice editor's overview. It's called Saying Goodbye by Risha Sturgeon Hendrick, who kind of covers the October magazine, and it's a nice tribute to Bob in terms of some of the information that was shared in that. Very nice. I'm sure many of you have already read that in the October Elevator World. Another kind of nice blog post over on Elevator World Unplugged has a lot of people actually who wrote this, who posted this. Hano actually wrote a little brief synopsis here, and also shared some of the comments and people that had written in regarding it. So Bob will definitely be missed. We do not want to forget Bob and his contributions to the industry, in everything that he stood for. So I'm glad to see this. I'm looking forward to the piece that Elevator World does on that. So okay, so enough about all that. Elevator World out for service during. The problem with articles like this is that you don't have to put a sensational title on an article in order to get it, get it attention. Daily Hampshire Gazette has a title and it says Banks Community Center elevator crashes during inspection. Nowhere is a elevator crash confirmed in the article by the inspector or anybody else, which kind of concerns me. So why throw a title out like this that would just somewhat havoc and concern, when in fact that may not have been what happened. So and there's a few articles on the show today that kind of just get at my just come on, let's not sensationalize everything to the point where everybody's worried about getting inside an elevator. So so anyway, link is in the show notes. Feel free to read it at your on your leisure. Okay, fund drive for Monroe Library hits halfway point. Very cool. Always like to see fundraising projects for elevators. And yeah, pretty cool. So they reached slightly more than half of the $35,000 goal that library officials set for private donations in its multifaceted effort to raise $200,000 for the new elevator in the facility. I know I'm not a great mathematician here, but I guess they just want to raise half of $35,000 and they got I don't understand. All right. Anyway, link is in the show notes. You can read it if you like. And I don't know, if you figure it out better than I do, feel free to set me straight. Okay, next news article. This one's kind of a concerning one. I'm going to see if I can play this without blaring your air balls, your eyeballs off. Because sometimes the pre-roll ads are terrible. But this is one of these iInvestigative team.
No two allergy days feel the same.
No.
With Nasacort, even on your worst.
I hate these things. Anyway, I'll let you watch the video on your own. What is concerning to me here is that this is an elevator broken for months at 7-story assisted living facility. The article in the I-Team investigative. Okay, here we go. Just play this real quick here. Okay.
Several floors in elevator is essential. So what happens when the elevator breaks? The I-Team found a home for seniors where at times the stairs have been the only option.
So is that legal? The state's answer has an advocate for the elderly outraged. Here's the I-Team's Lindsey Bramson.
It doesn't matter what kind of building we're talking about, an apartment building, an office building, but what about a senior living facility where it's not uncommon to find some seniors who can't do stairs? One woman came to us after she says the way the law is currently written is putting her own mother at risk. You're about to see for yourself why this Gallatin woman invited the I-Team's hidden camera inside her 79-year-old mother's 7-story building. Her elderly mother lives on one of the top floors at the Manor, an assisted living facility. Her mother has difficulty walking, so this out-of-order sign on the elevator is more than just an inconvenience, especially when the other elevator is also not working, which she says has happened many times before.
I'm concerned not only about my mother that lives there at the Manor, but I'm also concerned about all the other senior citizens.
And a Channel 4 I-Team investigation found despite the fact that older residents across the state rely on elevators like this one, the state can do nothing about an elevator unless it's actually operating.
As far as state law goes, there's nothing that the state can do to make sure that they are in operation.
I want better living conditions for her.
This woman asked us not to identify her, fearing her mother would face retaliation. She says ever since she moved her mother into the Manor almost 4 months ago, this elevator hasn't worked. On the day we were here, the other elevator was working. Here's the dilemma. If an elevator is working and has mechanical problems, then the state can force the facility to fix it. But if it's shut down and not operating at all, then the state can do nothing. In fact, there's no city or state regulation that a building with several floors even has to have a working elevator.
It only requires that if the elevator is operating, that it is safe to operate.
That's why the Department of Labor says they can't force management at the manor to fix it, or any elevators across the state.
I don't think that's right.
It's disturbing news to Grace Smith, who works with an advocacy group for seniors in Middle Tennessee.
I would hope that any facility that is a residence for older adults would very quickly move to correct an elevator problem in their facility.
Smith says stairs can be dangerous for someone who's older, especially if they fall.
Inconvenience would come with the
So we went straight to the manager of the manor and got an apology for the residents who live here and their loved ones.
There's nobody that wants this fixed more than I do. The one that is down, the part that we need actually has to be handmade, and so that has caused a little bit of a time gap.
Caitlin Clifton says the parts to fix the broken elevator are on order, and she says the second one, to her knowledge, has only not worked at the same time on one other occasion. In the meantime, people like Smith say this problem goes much deeper than just inside this one building.
I do think that you may have highlighted an area where there is not enough oversight to ensure that those safety standards are in place for the residents in those communities.
Regardless of the law, the fire inspector with the city of Gallatin has given management at the manor 15 days to fix that elevator. And that happened just days after we got involved. You can be sure we'll stay on top of this story to make sure that happens. Reporting for the Channel 4i team, I'm Lindsay Bramson.
All right, so this is, let me get out of here before it rolls again. The concern, okay, so this article spent more time talking about, filling fodder, because the reality is that from a safety standpoint, elevators need to work for fire service. I don't know if these had fire service or not, but yeah, and then also, elevators are considered common, I forgot the terminology for this, common things to use general riding public, even if it's a private facility. But at the end of the day, state fire marshal, which the elevators are typically governed under, has complete control over saying, hey, you got to get your elevators working, and that's pretty much it. So I'm a little shocked that at the end of the day, the state took their position on that, which is fine, and it's understandable because it's very legal in terms of how they did that and what they said. I don't doubt that that's inaccurate, but at the same time, they're talking about one elevator that's been down for 7 months and the other one that has been working. So come on, these kind of I-team investigations just try to somewhat drive me crazy. So, but it's all the nature of the beast to some extent. All right, I cannot get the website back up. Beautiful. Microsoft, damn you. That was a long article that didn't, long segment that really didn't say a whole lot. So anyway. Again, next news article, Sea Lions Cave is going to be out for 2 months to replace a 55-year-old elevator. It's always cool when I see articles in which that we're taking part in, and this is one of those jobs where we've got the fixtures in the project, and we had them last time too. So it's pretty cool. Can't wait to get it done with and out to out to this job site. It should be really nice by the time it's done. They're very custom fixtures that are designed to prevent corrosion from attacking the equipment inside. So it should provide years of reliable service. So pretty neat. And it's kind of neat to, when you read that in the news, like, hey, we're part of that project. So I thought it was cool. All right, next news article. Costume contest launch. Kone in the Middle East has a elevator costume contest going on. Read about that in the show notes. By the way, we did have a tour of the Kone facility in Moline. I was very impressed by their green building and their call center and their whole operation. Very impressive, I gotta say. Very, very impressive. And enjoyed it. Thanks to Kone for hosting us last week and giving us that plant tour and what everything was going on there. So it's been a while since I had been there, and so much has changed. So much has changed. So pretty cool. Okay, this is very important. If you have dogs, or any animal for that matter, never take them on an escalator. Dog was rescued from Burlington Town Center escalator. It's Burlington Free Press reporting. Oh man, please don't do this, and be very careful when you take your dog on an elevator. I'm trying to get out of this page before it loads up its loud ad. Yeah, please do not. I've seen signs where it says carry your dog. Do not take your dog on an escalator. Shame on you if you do that. Do Do you realize how small their little paw finger, pads are, and how wide an escalator step is? Man, please do not do this. If you witness it, get past the dog or let them know gently that they shouldn't be doing that. Okay, I thought we were going to go the entire show today without having an accident, but this one actually, I'm not quite sure if the translation is incorrect or what the deal is with this, but in Hyderabad, it's a city, not a person. 65 broke her leg after she fell into an elevator shaft at the Gandhi Hospital on Tuesday, thinking it was a bathroom. What the heck? Anyway, she opened the door of the lift, stepped inside, and fell down. Apparently, they asked if the contractor had put signboards wherever repair. Yeah, scary. As crazy as the United States is in North America, be grateful you live here, if you live here. Because ultimately, no matter what our politics are or what's going on, this kind of thing would not happen here. Oh, I thought the elevator was the bathroom, and I walked in and fell down. Okay, next news article. This is a new one. I almost didn't want to link it because I didn't want to shed any light on what was going on. But apparently in Moscow, the metro passenger escalators have injured fingers because somebody's putting needles in the handrails. What? They're calling this needle terrorism, and it has happened to other areas, which is just extremely concerning. I hope this doesn't catch on. I hope we don't hear anything more about it, but we might. It's just a little scary. A little bit scarier is that it says Moscow Metro kills over 1,500 people every year. What the? Remind me not to go to Russia. Ever. Ugh. Okay, next news article. CJC judges hire attorney to look into elevator safety in building. Hey, oh sure, because attorneys know everything about elevators, right? What in the world are you doing hiring an attorney? This is in Philadelphia. They want to make sure that the elevators are running at peak efficiency and are safe at peak hours. These are the judges now. So they hire an attorney to look at that. What? I'm going to go hire an attorney to fix my car. Yeah. Come on, judges. An attorney? Okay, this accident I think we talked about on last week's program. So another accident is just probably this is a bad one that I forgot about. In Australia, apparently a child fell down an escalator at a shopping center. And apparently he fell between two escalators. Hey, the good news is when we were touring in Kone, they've come up with a product that goes on the outside of a glass escalator handrail that is, I give them credit for going above and beyond because it's not a requirement by the code right now for elevators, but they've basically designed a handrail that goes up and it is in compliance with IBC for handrails. And I mean, hats off to them for coming up with basically a cage, not a cage system, but a rail system that can absolutely prevent people from falling over the side. So I thought it was awesome. I was like, right on. We got to stop people from doing well, you know what? It's a two-edged sword. We got stupid people doing stupid things, and then we have people that just don't understand what can happen when they, start farting around with trying to slide on escalator handrails and all sorts of stuff like that. So kind of scary. Okay, elevators on campus overdue for inspection. This article coming from the northernlight.org. And again, it's when you have so many inspections, so many elevators, and not enough inspectors, it's, and inspectors do a good job and are thorough, it's going to take a little bit of time to go through a significant backlog. I wish the answer were to either pay inspectors more or to hire more or to make that field more attractive to anybody wanting to go into it, because at the end of the day, you want to put America back to work, man, become an elevator inspector if you can, I mean, not that that's the easiest thing to do in the world. I know that. But at the end of the day, it's, if you can do it, go for it. And I know QEI is not necessarily something you can do without being in the field, but, some of these areas that need more inspectors, seems like it's a good fit. So, okay, next news article is SD City Time. This article drives me absolutely nuts. Bat Ape blank. Beep. This is regarding students blaming elevators or calling them the Tower of Terror at the Math and Social Sciences building in San Diego Community College. Read this article and just, man, this is the 95% people. I can't even say this correctly. It drives me crazy, though. Read it. Okay, they're complaining about elevators not working, one of which was, was stopped because of earthquake service going off, which is not a bad thing. But at the end of the day, they interview students who admit to damaging elevators, to jumping up and down in elevators. These are college students. Come on. Here's a paragraph on September 23rd. Beck Jolly, 36, a behavioral science major, disregarded the yellow barricade on the 5th floor. He said he pushed it to the side and entered the elevator. Upon entering, he said he was scolded by a man dressed in all black who said, "What are you doing, bro? There's a barricade right there." That fired me up. I cannot cuss on this interview, right? Beck asked. I was pissed off, and the only reason I don't want to use the stairs is because I don't want to be all sweaty before I go to class. Man. Can't believe they published that. So who in their right mind is going to read this and say, okay, the students are not at fault? You know what I mean? Come on. Man. Colleges and universities are some of the worst locations for elevators, unfortunately. So, one student who wanted to remain anonymous said that jumping up prior to elevator going up and down creates a sense of floating. Here's an idea. Put cameras in there and catch the people who are damaging the elevators, whether they are causing them to stop, and then send their parents the bill for the elevator company to come out and fix it. It's happened before. I think that's the only way you can stop these yahoos from just totally effing up the elevators to the point where they don't run anymore. And then some article gets written like this saying it's, elevators are bad when the people themselves are the ones causing the whole issue. So, drives me nuts. Anyway. And the last news article for this week's program, Chicago Elevator Association October meeting is tomorrow night, and I am going to do everything I can to get there. I think Tritronics is speaking. It's actually right down the road. And just as a quick side note here, for those of you out there, actually we won't do the side note right now. We're going to go ahead, and I won't get into that. So anyway, that's going to do it for the show, everybody. I know we're going a little bit long today, or a little bit short on the show, but long in terms of it being up online and all that good stuff. But as always, I want to thank you for joining me today on the program. It's been my absolute pleasure. Be safe out there, and remember the most important part of your day is going home to your family and making sure that you're around for your family. So keep that in mind. So everybody have a great rest of the week. I will not be back next Wednesday, but hopefully we'll have a show in its place. If not, it's okay. And we'll be back the following week with the new program and an update from the Wisconsin Elevator Symposium. And that should do it, everybody. So again, enjoy those fall colors out there. We'll talk to you in a couple weeks, okay? Take care. Bye-bye.